Another Sunday, another day of football. Yup, we've got the Week 2 NFL Sunday preview. Again, going through every single game. Should be really fun. Again, we got some big games this Sunday. Very interesting ones as well. Here we go. Again, yup, Week 2 NFL Sunday preview. Hope you guys enjoy. Welcome back to the Fun NFL. Of course, please like and subscribe, and I hope you guys enjoy the Week 2 NFL Week 2 Sunday preview. Of course, go here in Week 2 after a pretty crazy Week 1 as everything stands. Of course, I'll talk about the standings in a second. First thing though, pregame shows. I don't know why this is still up here, but yeah, NFL Game Day Morning started an hour ago, so you can watch that. It's on until 1, and then you'll have to probably switch over to Red Zone. That other pregame show starts at 10 on CBS Sports Network, basically now. Same thing as Sunday NFL Countdown. Fantasy Football now for fantasy people, 11 a.m. And then on Peacock, if you have that streaming service on 11 a.m. on Peacock, you can watch that. Their fantasy football pregame. Fox NFL Sunday, 11 to 12, and 12 Eastern, basically 2 hours of Fox coverage. And then CBS, the NFL Today, again, the premier pregame show at noon Eastern on CBS. So that's your pregame shows. Again, some have already started, so tune in to that if you want to watch that again after this preview. But yeah, that's what I got there. Again, we look at the divisions right now. Of course, it's only 1 week, but yeah, the Jets got out again. They did not knock up the Bills last week, and of course, yeah, again, it's one game, so it's kind of not much to talk about. Yeah, the Jets are 1-0. The Dolphins are also again 1-0, but yeah, it's kind of what's like. The Raiders are the only team that actually won last week for the AFC West. Same thing with the Jags, but like again, like the Colts in the same division. Browns and Ravens, of course, there too. Eagles, of course, are already 2-0. Vikings already 0-2. Packers and Lions, again, probably going to see who's going to be there. Rams and 49ers, battle for a really early season first place matchup. Again, we'll get to that later, but yeah, the 49ers probably going to win that. But Bucs and Falcons, again, they're also 1-0 too. Same thing with the Saints. So NFC South actually has probably the best overall record outside of the NFC East in terms of their division. So who I got there, and yeah, let's get right into the first game, Raiders and Bills. All right, and the Bills, well, of course, their home opener will be against the Raiders, of course, coming in on a short week in which they blew a game against the against the Jets. Of course, they had 4 total turnovers. Josh Allen, 3 interceptions, had a bad fumble. It was not a good game for the Bills by any stretch. Again, their defense did play pretty well, though. Raiders, on the other hand, coming this one at 1-0. Yeah, they kind of just beat the Broncos. They did their thing. It wasn't a great game by any means by them, but they just beat a team that, I mean, pretty even matchup. Again, they just figured out a way to win the close one. But, again, against the Bills, I don't remember the last time they played in Buffalo, but I remember the last time they played the Bills was when the Bills were 4-0. Josh Allen was like the MVP candidate. The Raiders was like MVP candidate. The Raiders were pretty good, though. Again, they came in, they started out 2-0 in 2020. The final score was 30-23. The Raiders' offense just didn't play that well overall, but yeah, the Bills' offense just erupted. Like, Stephon Diggs had like a huge game, too. So, yeah, look out for that. Again, the game's at 1 o'clock on CBS. NFL Plus and Paramount Plus are your streaming services for this game. YouTube TV, whatever, package out for Sunday NFL ticket, you will get the Red Zone for that as well. Announcing this game, where is it? It's Kevin Harlan, Trent Green, and Melanie Collins. So it is a B game. It's CBS's third game this week, which is pretty big deal, obviously. Not really, but either way. ESPN Radio, Steve Levy, and Max Starks on the call for that. And yeah, let's get, we look at the map. For again, if you basically most of the West Coast is getting this game. I mean, western part of the country, like Mountain West for sure. Again, it's scattered parts of the country obviously aren't going to get it, and also the Northeast because that's where the Bills play. I mean New England, so New England and most of the West. So Wild West, whatever you want to call it. And then the weather in Buffalo, it's going to be not. There we go. It's going to be 69 degrees, pretty, like a little wind. It's going to be basically whatever, mostly cloudy. The weather's not going to be fantastic. It's not going to be terrible. It's not going to be too windy, though, so that's what I got for the Bills and Raiders. Let's get right into the Raiders starting lineup. Oh, shoot. Amari Cooper's not going to play. Okay. Monday Night Football, yeah, there'll be a doubleheader, but whatever. Jimmy G will start for the Raiders. Brian Hoyer is his backup. Josh Jacobs and Amir White in the backfield. Devontae Adams, Jacoby Myers is out. DeAndre Carter is a receiver as well as Hunter Renfrow. Austin Hooper, Michael Mayer at tight end. Jakob Johnson at fullback. Colin Miller, Dylan Parham, Andre James, Greg Van Roten, and Jermaine Illuminor across the offensive line. Dalton Wagner is on IR. Max Crosby, Chandler Jones again is out. It's just a mess there. Tyree Wilson and Malcolm Kuntz off the edge. Byron Young also probably will get some time as well. The other Byron Young, not the guy in the Rams. Different dude. Jerry Tillery and Bilal Nichols up the middle with Divine Diablo, Robert Spillane, and Luke Masterson. Darian Butler and Brandon Faison are both also on IR. Nate Hobbs, Corey Bennett, David Long Jr., and Marcus Peters corner with Marcus Epps, strong safety, and Trayvon Mulgrew, a free safety. Daniel Carlson is the kicker. AJ Cole's the punter. DeAndre Carter is returner, and Jacob Bobbin-Moyer is the long snapper. And for the Bills, Josh Allen, of course, is their starting quarterback. Kyle Allen is his back with James Cook, Damian Harris, my bad, and Latavius Murray in the backfield. Naheem Hines is out. Justin Shorter, Zach Davidson, Tommy Doyle, and Balen Spector all on IR. Von Miller, again, is still out. If you didn't know that. Stephon Diggs, Gabe Davis, Deontay Hardy at receiver. Khalil Shakir will be in there a little too. Dawson Knox, Dalton Kincaid at tight end. Reggie Gillian is your fullback. Deion Dawkins, Connor McGovern. Mitch Morse, Osiris Torrance, and Spencer Brown across the offensive line. Greg Rousseau, AJ Epineza, Leonard Floyd, Shaq Lawson off the edge. Ed Oliver, DeQuan Jones are up the middle with Dorian Williams, Terrell Bernard, and Matt Milano linebacker with Travius White, Teron Johnson, Christian Benford, and even, Tyre Williams way back there. Well, okay. Jordan Poyer and Micah Hyde are both at safety, and Christian Benford had a really good week last game. Tyler Bass, Sam Martin at kicker and punter. Deontay Harder is your returner, and your long snapper is Reed Ferguson. Now for the keys to the game, I want this Raiders offense for basically what I want is Jack Jacobs to hit the holes a little faster. I would say a lot faster, but again, this is kind of blunt. But yeah, he didn't really hit the holes too fast last week. Again, I don't think it was the end of the road for him because again, the running game wasn't great by any means. But I definitely think he could just be a little faster. That's what I meant. Like, it's not like I don't know, like the vision was there. It's just I don't think he was like as quick through the holes as like I think he could have been. So yeah, that's what I got. Jimmy needs to get 2.5 seconds to throw because if they want to keep up with this Bills offense, which will score against their defense, it's inevitable. They're gonna have to be able. He's gonna have to be able to launch some balls or at least get the ball downfield. That's really how he's gonna do it. And 10 post targets for Devontae because let's be honest, he just didn't really get many targets last week and it wasn't great. Raiders defense, make Josh throw the ball early instead of holding it because when he holds it, he makes stuff happen. And when he doesn't hold it, again, the receivers going to have to make plays. And some of them just straight up can't. Nate Haas, 5+ pass defense / assists. He just needs to get more involved because he's a good player when he's active. When he's not active, he gets burned. It's kind of like that. Or he just misses a tackle. And under 20 points allowed is really the only way I think they're going to win because if they get more than that, I really don't know how this offense is going to move the football unless they run the ball really, really well, which is hard to do against the Bills. Meanwhile, for this Bills offense, Damian Harris needs to get more carries. Like, what were they doing with him last week? That was just, I don't know what they were, like, it was just bad. That's how I'll put it. But, yeah, he didn't get enough carries. I think their offense just, like, our offensive line got manhandled because of it because they didn't really have a guy who was bruising them. Like, the defense line was fresh the whole game. And especially against this Raiders defensive line, of course, with Max Crosby and Tyree Wilson, who's a young guy. If those guys are both fresh for the whole game and they can just pin their ears back, they will get pressure. I get the fact that Tyree Wilson is absolutely no finesse game. You saw it last week against the Broncos. But the power game is something that if you have it at the end of the game, offensive linemen are going to be dead because they've been trying to stop it the whole game. Like, it's not going to work. They got to run the ball 40+ times, in my opinion. If they don't do that, I just don't think this game. Again, they probably will win, but it doesn't mean that they can just not do it. They got to run the ball, in my opinion. And Josh can't turn it over unless it's an arm punt or a blindside strip sack. Because, not going to lie, I don't know a quarterback who could see that coming unless you have eyes in the back of your head, obviously. Bills defense, don't let Josh break free. Being Josh Jacobs, not Josh Allen, obviously. If he breaks free, yeah, that would not be good because he brings it to the house more often than not. Tight run fits by safeties because, again, if he gets to the outside, at least you have guys with the speed to keep up with him. If you let him run up the middle, he'll break tackles and it won't be pretty. Let Jimmy have the outside bombs because those are hard throws for him to make, and you have the defenders. The backs to really be disciplined enough to try to pick those off without getting PI. And Greg Rousseau on Jermaine Illuminor any chance you get on third down because he will beat him a lot. Jermaine Illuminor, he's pretty technically sound, like he does do a good job, but Greg Rousseau is just a lot better, like talent wise. So just do that. Okay, Ravens and Bengals. Here we go. Now we'll get the Ravens and Bengals, who, of course, this will be, Lamar's first start in Cincinnati since 2019 to be 2020 to be exact, but I'll show, Ravens and Bengals, it was kind of a blowout, so, legitimate matchup, because the Bengals were really tanking then. No, that's 2021, my bad. Where is it? This one. Yeah, so Lamar, he really didn't play, he played, but he didn't play, yeah, again, you could probably say, Lamar in Cincinnati has been, domination. Again, the Bengals, the last 5 meetings they played, they've actually won 3 of them in Cincinnati. They won in 2018. It was a Thursday nighter, I think. Then, let me look that one up. Again, I get it wasn't... What was final score? It was 34-23. Yeah, they won that one on Thursday night. It was a pretty good game. And then 2019, of course, Lamar went in there and just blew, like, the doors off. That was kind of just like his MVP game, or whatever you want to call it. 2020, obviously, again, Ravens had to win in to get in, and they blew them out. It was really bad. And then, since then, though, the Bengals have really had their way. Again, last year, they won in a Week 18 game, really just to avoid, like, some weird tie-breaking thing. So, yeah, that's kind of what you got there. And then, of course, 2021, Joe Burrow threw for, like, 525 yards and 4 touchdowns in, like, a huge win. So, yeah, Lamar hasn't really played the Bengals in Cincinnati in a while. It's been a minute. So, this should be a fun game. Again, but both quarterbacks have dominated in their home stadiums against each other. I mean, Lamar's dominated when he's come to Cincinnati, but Joe Burrow's dominated when the Ravens have come there. So, really their first true meeting against each other, like, in Cincinnati. So this will definitely be cool. Games at 1 o'clock on CBS, NFL Plus, Paramount Plus. Again, all your streaming services. If you have YouTube TV, you can watch it on Red Zone, stuff like that. Announcing this game will be Andrew Catalan, Tiki Barber, Matt Ryan, AJ Ross. So again, it is a B game, but it's still a B game. Sports US Radio, Larry Kahn and Giovanni Bernard, again, former Bengal. So that'll be pretty cool. The map, of course, we look at it. It's green. It's going basically all the not Midwest. The middle part, the Middle East, yeah, basically the Middle East, not the Middle East, but the Middle Eastern part of of the U.S. Let me put it like that. Not going southeast, but it's definitely close to there. Like you get like Mid-America, whatever you want to call it. I don't even know how to like pronounce this without like offending people. So yeah, so we got there, and obviously the weather. It's gonna be a little hotter, but still gonna be mostly cloudy. Again, not much wind. It's gonna be like whatever. No, it's not gonna be in Celsius. Let me just put it like that. So, that's what I got there. Again, Ravens and Bengals. Neither of these quarterbacks have played each other in Cincinnati. This will definitely be a cool game to watch. Let's get right into the Ravens starting lineup. For the Ravens, Lamar will start, obviously, with Josh Johnson being his backup. Now, Tyler Huntley again still on this team, though. Gus Edwards, Justice Hill, and Melvin Gordon will probably all get the carries. I hope so. Keaton Mitchell, Malik Ham are both on IR, as well. Again, J.K. Dobbins is out for the year with that torn Achilles. Rashad Bateman, OBJ, and Zay Flowers, a receiver. Mark Andrews is questionable. Probably play though, as I likely. Again, Charlie Kohler will will play if he can't though. Patrick Reckhart's fullback. Ronnie Stanley's out. Patrick McCarthy probably will start there, and maybe Ben Cleveland will start at center. Okay, Andrew Voorhees is still out. I don't know what is up with him. What is it? He tore his ACL. So why is he still on this? Like whatever. I'm not even getting into that. John Simpson, Kevin Tyler, and Morgan Moses Carson in the offensive line. Though Justin Matabuke, Michael Pierce, and Broderick Washington are the defensive linemen with Odafe Oweh, Tavius Robinson, Javion Connie, and David Ojabo off the edge. Tyus Bowser is out, so basically their third best rusher is getting out. Patrick Queen and Roquan Smith are a linebacker. Trent Simpson also there with Rock Yassin, Ronald Darby, and Kevon Seymour at corner. Marlon Humphrey and Marcus Williams are both out, though, so Brandon Stevens will probably start at safety with Kyle Hamilton. Justin Tucker is the kicker. Jordan Stout's the punter. Javon Duvernay's the returner. Tyler Out's the long snapper, with Nick Moore being out at the long snapper position. And for the Bengals, Joe Burrow will, of course, start with Jake Browning being his back. Chris Evans is questionable, though, so Chase Brown and Trayvon Williams, Joe Mixon, again, they'll do their thing. Jamar Chase Teagan's Tyler Boyd out, receiver. Yeah, it's time for this running game to get going. Let me put it like that. Irv Smith Jr., Drew Sample at tight end. Of course, Orlando Brown Jr., Cordell Volson, Ted Karras out with Kappa, Jordan Williams across the offensive line. Devin Cochran is on IR. Sam Hubbard, Cam Sample, Trey Anderson off the edge with Joseph Asai being questionable. Miles Murphy still there as well. Devonisha Maxwell is also on IR. DJ Reader and BJ Hill both up the middle, with Logan Wilson, Jermaine Pratt, and Akeem Davis-Gaither being at middle linebacker, basically. Marcus Bailey is questionable. Chidobe Awuzie, DJ Turner, Mike Cohen, Cam Taylor-Britt at corner, with Dax Hill and Nick Scott being at safety. Marvin Tell III is on IR, with Evan McPherson being your kicker, Brad Robbins being your punter, Charlie Jones being your punt returner. Chris Evans is questionable at kicker returner, so Charlie Jones probably would do that too. And Cal Domitis is your long snapper. All right, Ravens, keys to the game, of course, coming off a week where their offense was pretty against the Texans, but they still won because, like, they're just a better team. But, yeah, going to Cincinnati, they're going to have to probably score a lot of points. We'll just have to wait and see, though. Run the ball for over 5 yards per carry. I think it will be huge. Again, this running game was pretty good last week, but if they're similar to the way they are and maybe run the ball a little more efficiently, that would be more efficient. I guess that's the right word. Whatever. That'll be good. Lamar has to break one big in the second quarter, like a big run, if he can like just blow past. Again, I really think that'll be a big momentum booster. Odell, 5 targets for over 15 air yards. Again, get him the ball downfield because, again, if you didn't know, Odell's really good at running those intermediate routes, and then he can get downfield off of it. Kevin Zeller needs to win on every run block and 80% pass pro. Again, winning on every run block, he's been like basically good at his whole career, so I'm not concerned there. 80% pass pro, I think, is crucial though because if DJ Reader or Video get in the backfield at any moment from that right side, Lamar will just not be ready for it because he'd expect that to be perfect every time. Not that though, with Ronnie Stanley being out, I think he's gonna really lean on going to Kevin Zeitler's side to be able to have protection. Ravens defense, 4+ sacks. Again, they want to win this game for sure. They're going to have a lot of pressure. Again, look what happened last week. Put T. Higgins in a vice. Yeah, double team him. Let Jamar be the guy that does everything. And if anything, don't let Jamar get behind for a long bump because not gonna lie, his route running last week was pretty bad. It was just messy and it was not good. He was running into the guy's routes. It was just terrible. And like yeah, T. Higgins in a vice because he is their guy that they like to go to like on big time plays. And obviously that is Jamar too, more or less. But Teagan's actually is a lot more valuable than people would really even think, even though people think he's valuable. It's really confusing. But yeah, Teagan's you saw what happened with that offense. They really struggled because they couldn't get him the football. Time for the Bengals. All right, and for Cincy, Bengals offense, Joe has to find a way to hit his receivers without having to fit into a really tight window on a regular basis. He couldn't do that do it like 10 times last week. So basically, what this means is Joe puts himself in a spot, at least last week he did, where he went through his progression once and he just didn't hit the guy on the first, 1, 2, 3. He didn't throw it. Want to know why? Because his receivers just weren't open. And he really tried to force it into a window that he really wouldn't have had to if he just got the ball to them earlier. Yeah, some of the routes just weren't designed for that. Again, what is it called? Zach Taylor and I've literally read their offensive coordinator. Who the heck is it? Whatever. They really struggled with getting these receivers visibly open because again, Joe's coming off that injury, but that was ugly in the fact that he just missed again some of those reads. I'm like, just hit him there. You don't need to wait for him to get even more open when it's again you're making it really hard on yourself. Joe Mixon 25+ touches. He was by far the most spark plug type of player last week. Get him the football and actually get under to create some sense of unpredictability for Roquan and Patrick Queen. What that means is basically get under center. So basically, yeah, play action stuff like that. But they didn't do a lot of that last week. They got to run the ball from under center. Get back to that, then maybe get the shotgun later when you really get the chance to. But again, a lot of the big plays come from shotgun, but you just can't drop back every single snap because you saw what happened last week. And either way, for the Bengals defense, continue to force QBs, in this case Lamar, to throw on the run back over the middle to create easy throws. At least what they think it is because you saw what happened with Sean Watson last week. Next guy has to do a better job getting to the B gap at an obtuse angle. Limit space for cutbacks because that's what killed them last week a lot. And Jacoby Wuzig has to continue to be a menace in the flat. He made 5 tackles. It was no receiver wanted to catch the ball there last week for the Browns. They knew they were just going to get popped or the ball was going to just get knocked away. So if Jacoby Wuzig can keep doing that, no receivers are going to get beat because no one's going to beat him deep in the first place. But dang, he looked really, really good last week. Now let's get to the next game, Chargers and Titans. This game's just bad. Alright, the Chargers travel to Nashville for their first matchup there here since 2019, of course, where the Titans won 23-20 in a similar kind of matchup where both teams are really struggling. Well, they're not really struggling just yet, but it's week 2. These teams first met last year. Ryan Tannehill got hurt, and then the Titans just third season already was tanking, and it just got even worse from there. Of course, that game sparked the Chargers stretch in which they They were 6-6. Then they beat that was the stretch where they won 4 in a row. They beat the Dolphins pretty good. Then they beat the Titans in a close game. But yeah, that really sparked the Chargers stretch, of course, to boost them into the playoffs. But now, of course, they meet both teams coming off very close, frustrating loss. Of course, the Chargers defense looked terrible last week, but they did run the ball pretty well. And then, of course, Titans, on the other hand, their offense moved the ball pretty well. It's just they had way too many turnovers, way too sloppy, and Derrick Henry didn't get enough carries. That's the right take. I don't even know that. I don't know how to explain it. It was just terrible. And obviously the Titans defense played pretty well outside the fact they blew a couple big coverages. Yeah, nothing big. 1 o'clock on CBS though. NFL Plus, Paramount Plus, again, all the streaming services. You can also watch it on YouTube TV and Red Zone, whatever you want to call it. It is a C game. Not surprised there. Tom McCarthy, James Lofton, Jay Feely, and Tiffany Blackman, of course. It's Justin Herbert's first matchup in Nashville. Again, you saw the map. It's basically just Tennessee and dipping back into the states underneath it, being Mississippi, Alabama, and Georgia. And as well, of course, you got very northern California, and then you go into the southwest to middle of Oregon, and then obviously SoCal, which is going to get this game if there's anyone watching in SoCal. And obviously, Nashville, it's going to be 77 degrees, pretty good. The wind's going to be a little higher than I think it normally is, because it actually isn't even that much. It's going to be sunny, too, to keep that in mind, too. Again, not too humid either. It's going to be pretty decent weather. Not the greatest, but it should be good weather for the Chargers and Titans. If the Chargers, Justin Herbert will start, but Austin Eckler is doubtful, which is not good for their offense. So, yeah, Joshua Kelly, who did look really good last week, will again get the start. Elijah Dotson and Isaiah Spiller still in the backfield. This dude is a dog. He actually breaks a lot of tackles, look good in preseason, too. So, watch out for him if you're a fantasy guy. You might want to draft him, because he will probably get a lot of touches out of the backfield, because he's actually a pretty good route runner, too. Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, Joshua Palmer, receiver. Jalen Guyton still can't stay healthy. Quentin Johnson, didn't have the best rookie debut last week, only 2 catches for 9 yards. But do expect him to have a bigger role this week. Gerald Everett, Donald Parham Jr., tight end, of course, got the touchdown last week. Rashawn Slater, Zion Johnson, Corey Lindsley. Jamari Salyer and Trey Pipkins III across the offensive line. Andrew Trainer, and then Amiki Uzomundia is on IR. Morgan Fox, Austin Johnson, Sebastian Joseph Day are across the defensive line with Odioga Agbania out. Joey Bosa is questionable. Tapua will start if he can't go. I'm in Klimack also there. Dan Henley still doubtful. Tanner Muse will again take his spot if he can't play. But Eric Kendricks is doubtful, so yeah, we could see Nick Neiman at a point. And of course, Kenneth Murray Jr. there as well. J.C. Jackson looked big baked potatoes last week. Jazir Taylor, who also looked like baked potatoes. Santi Samuel Jr., Michael Davis at corner with Eli Gilman and Derwin James Jr. at safety, with Cameron Dicker being their kicker, their punter, J.K. Scott, Darius Davis is their returner, and Josh Harris is their long snapper. Meanwhile, the Titans, Ryan Tannehill, of course, their quarterback, Malik Wilson, Will Levis, 2 worst backups in the league. No, I'm joking. Are both there as well. Derrick Henry, Tashi Spears, Julius Chestnut in the back. Son Haskins is still out. Kyle Phillips is on IR, with McNicholas Petit-Frere basically being on IR too. Shaka Brown and Caleb Farley is also out. D-Hop is questionable. Chris Moore will probably take a spot if he can't go. Now, Traylon Westbrook and NWI, or Nick Westbrook, Akeen also there. Chizakongo at tight end didn't have a great week last game. Didn't even think he had a catch. Yeah, Trayvon Wesco also there. Andre Dillard, Peter Skoronski is questionable. Xavier Newman will take a spot. Probably Corey Levin will probably start instead of him. Maybe even Dylan Raditz. I don't know what they're going to want to do there. Andrew Brewer, Daniel Brunskill, and Chris Hubbard across the rest of the offensive line. Jefferson was here, charged Nico Audrey, all healthy again. Nico Audrey still doing his job. Harold Landry third, Travis Gibson, Rashad Weaver, and Arden Key off the edge with Aziz Al-Shawar, Jack Gibbons at linebacker. Sean Murphy Bunting, Roger McCreary, Christian Fulton out, Trey Avery, Burnt Phelps will still be out there. Amani Hooker is out. Mike Brown, probably Elijah Molden, though, will probably take a spot. Kevin Byard, for the other free safety. Yeah, he's pretty good, too. Nick Foles, Ryan Stonehouse, kicker, punter. Kyrus Jackson is your returner. And Morgan Cox is your long snapper, of course, with Amani Hooker not playing today. And looking at this Chargers offense, I want them to run 30-plus plays with play action off of it. Again, they got to run the ball a good amount. They did it really well last week. I think they'll be able to do somewhat the same, because that offensive line was one of the best running back units by far in the league last week. They've created a lot of holes in yards created. I think they were third in, by far first. No, they were second in over expected, because I think, who was it? No, it's because of the Eagles game, because they had a lot more yards over expected created last week. Whatever. Get Quinnen on more to find a deep option routes. Last week it was just a complete mess. I don't know what they're trying to do with them. The screens they were running was just crap, and he just needs to get downfield more. I think they ran one good post with him, and it just didn't really work out, because again, Justin Herbert just didn't have much time. But that was a good defined deep route. And what I mean by the option routes, because they like using him because he's probably their best deep threat. They try to do Mike Williams a couple times running the high routes where they go high and low. Again, 2 high safeties, mofo, middle field open, and then of course when there's one high, they have him running whatever you want to call it, like a dig route or something. It depends again on the route, but yeah, this Chargers defense again, it really depends. So we'll see again this offense, but yeah, Mike Williams tried to run with him. He just really wasn't getting to the top of that route fast enough, so they were getting the Quinnen in it, but he really didn't get a true, really good read on it just yet. So if you again just tell him to run a post, he'll run the post. And again, Mike Williams 1+ touchdowns as well. Again, he's got to get in the end zone. He hasn't done that in a while. Chargers defense forced Derrick Henry to run into the A gap. That's really how you're going to tackle him. Other than that, you could get cooked. Ryan Tannehill 4+ forced turnovers, which sounds insane. But he threw 3 last week. In this Chargers defense is a lot better forcing turnovers than that Saints defense. So I do expect them to force a lot of turnovers this week. We'll see if they actually can though. And it's Saturday Samuel Jr. 3 plus wins versus 50-50 versus D-Hop. Again, if he does it doesn't have to be a pick. If he gets a pick, that would be even better. But I do think he just needs to be again. D-Hop's going to beat him on some underneath routes because, again, he's just a little more, I wouldn't say quick, but just, like, better off the jump than Asante Samuel Jr. So, but if he can win those 50-50 balls, that will really neutralize that. Time for the Titans. Normally, you would not want to get Derrick Henry 30 carries in the second game of the season, but for what this offense looked like, they need to. I don't care if it's too many. Like, just get him the ball. Ryan Tannehill, goose egg in the turnover column. Don't turn over the football. And Peter Skoronski needs to have a bounce back in the run game. Screw the pass blocking. Just be effective in run blocking because he could not sustain a block last week. I mean, he had one good block where he plowed a guy over, but that was about it. Titans defense, Jeffrey Simmons, 10 plus total pressures. Again, that's a lot, but I do think he can do it. So, yeah, better tackling overall as a team. They just, again, messy, and it just wasn't great. Honestly, it was just the fact they didn't really weren't that aggressive, but again, the actual, like, pure tackling wasn't great either. And don't blow any deep coverages. You too, Kevin Byard, he blew a couple. Yeah, if they blow another deep coverage, I'm going to lose my mind. Now let's get to, is it a tank ball? I'm not going to call it tank ball. It's week 2. Meanwhile, yep, we go to Houston for what last year was a super tank ball. They played week 1 last year, of course, in Houston, and it was a terrible game. The Texans were up 20-3, and they almost upset the Colts, but Colts came back from and they scored 17 unanswered in the fourth quarter, and it was basically a tie, and it was a really bad game I don't want to remember. Now both teams, of course, have rookie quarterbacks battle the top 4 picks. This should be, again, a pretty fun game to watch for both these quarterbacks. Again, they both did struggle a little bit in their debuts. Announcing this game, my bad. This game is actually on Fox, so, yeah, AFC games are now on Fox. I didn't know. Fox Sports app, you can stream it on. NFL Plus, and, yeah, YouTube TV, whatever you want to call it. Again, it'll be in, like, certain areas. Announcing this game, that's not it. Where is it? Oh, yeah. Here we go. Chris Myers, Robert Smith, Jenny Hill. So, obviously, it is a C game. Looking at the map for it, that's the late one. Here we go. Again, this is really confusing, but it's this game right here. It's in teal. Basically, a good chunk of Texas, and obviously all of Illinois, Indiana. So that's what's going to be getting this game, guys. And yeah, that's the Colts and Texans again. Battle top 4 picks. Both offenses having their worries after week 1. Colts less than Texans though. And for the Colts, Anthony Richardson, of course, will be their starter. Again, he got hurt last week. See if he doesn't take as many hits this week. Zach Moss, Deion Jackson, both healthy in the back here. Jonathan Taylor, again, is still out. Michael Pittman Jr., Alec Pierce, Josh Downs, the receiver. Ashton Dolan, Danny Pinter, Jake Witt, Gennard Avery, Titus Leo, Chris Lamons, and Daniel Scott on IR. Again, Daniel Scott tore his ACL. He's out the whole year. Tyler Granson, their starting tight end, who had a fantastic week last week is questionable. Molly Cox will probably start if he can't go. Bernard Raymond, Quentin Nelson's questionable. Josh Stills or Wesley French, one of the two will start in front of if he can't go. Ryan Kelly, Blue Fries, and Braden Smith, the usual across the offensive line. But defensively, Kwity Paye, take on Lewis, Deo Diengbo, and Samson Ebu come off the edge with DeForest Buckner, Grover Stewart at the defensive tackle position with Zaire Franklin. Speed and Shaq Leonard at linebacker. Dallas Flowers, Kenny Moore II, Darrell Baker Jr., and Juju Brents at corner with Julian Blackman and Rodney Thomas II at safety. Matt Gay, the kicker, and Bigger Burgess Kansas at the punter position. The returners are Dallas Flowers and Isaiah McKenzie, and Luke Rhodes is the year-long snapper. And for the Texans, CJ Stroud is questionable, but I think he'll play. Worst case, you see Davis Mills, which he's always played. I'm not even kidding. He's actually last season he played well against the Colts. I mean, not the years before, but last year he did. Damian Pierce, Devin Singletary, Mike Boone in the backfield. Jesse Matthews, Noah Brown, Troy Erickson, Kenya Green, Juice Scruggs, Titus Howard, Killian Zeeler, and Hassan Ridgeway all in IR. That's 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, Scott Questenberry 2, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 guys already on IR. We haven't even played 2 games yet. This is their home opener. They're going home, like, literally after the first game. Like, they haven't even played a home game yet, and they already have 9 guys on IR. Nico Collins, Robert Woods, Tank Dell, receiver. John Mechie's finally healthy. First game. Let's go, John. I actually think he'll get some targets, too, because Tank Dell, again, he's good, but he's not the same player. Receiver Hutchinson will be on the field, too. Dalton Schultz, he can carry on Bedford Jordan tight end. All of them are going to get snaps at some point. Again, Dalton Schultz will probably get a lot more, though, because, again, he's their starter. Duh. Inter-back to the fullback. Laramie Tunsil's questionable. George Fan will probably start in front of him if he can't go, because Josh Jones is not a left tackle. He's definitely a right tackle. That's kind of what it's like. Josh Jones, Jared Patterson, Shaq Mason, and a lot of backups in this offensive line. Kendrick Green maybe will get a little more snaps, though. Will Anderson Jr., Dylan Horton, and basically just Jerry Hughes and Jonathan Gurr, to be honest. Sean Rankins and Malik Collins at even tackle with Christian Harris, Denzel Perryman, and Jake Hansen at linebacker. Derek Stingley Jr., Shaq Griffin, and Steven Nelson at corner with Jimmy Ward and Jalen Petrie both being out there. So MJ Stewart and Murray. At least they have some sort of backup plan in the safety, so that's pretty good. Kyrie Fairbairn, Tyson Miller is your punter. Again, Cameron Johnson's on there. That's 10 guys now. Yeah, the Texans injury bug is not really wearing off just yet. Tank Dell, Mike Boone, punter returner, kicker returner, John Weeks is your long snapper. Good luck with those injuries, Texans. Alright, look at this Colts team. Obviously, first starting off the offense. AR has to slide instead of taking these brutal hits. Yeah, like that's simple. Okay, the run game actually has to do something. Again, I was fine with it last week because it was the first game of the season and they had like who the heck was even starting? I was like Deion Jackson or something. This week, though, it's got to be a lot better. Over 3.5 yards per carry. Again, that's pretty bad. And Alex Pierce has to show up to the NRG Stadium. I don't even think he showed, like, man, first game of the season, I don't even think he, like, was in the hotel. He's probably, like, I don't even know where he was, to be honest. Probably was at a bar or something. Colts defense. Make CJ beat you from the pocket if he plays. If he doesn't, do what you do against Davis Mills. Just shut him out, because it's literally what you do every time. Stop Dameon Pierce power game, because that's what they're really going to want to run a lot more this week, especially against the defense, against these linebackers that really aren't the most aggressive overall, like if you watched them last week. And play man press on Texans receivers, because they don't get open if you do that. Meanwhile, this Texans offense, well, I don't even have it on here, but it's kind of simple. The receivers got to get open. Like, oh my God. Like, they guys make some hard catches because they were not getting open. It was just really bad. But, yeah, offensively, the run game simply has to be better, which is just kind of simple again. But, it's got to be the same game, just better execution, whatever you want to say. Nico Collins, 3+ deep shots. Actually, he wasn't getting too much separation, but he was winning a lot of those 50-50 balls and, again, breaking tackles, getting the ball downfield. And Robert Woods has to play more in the slot because he's really the only receiver that I actually think will get open enough for CG just to basically dish it off to him every time. Defensively, Derek Stingley builds off last week. He looked okay. I think he could be better, though. Again, just better tackling, that would be huge. And then the safeties keep playing aggressive because that's a great idea. No, like, complete opposite there. And the linebackers don't get their ankles broken. That happened a lot with Jay Flowers last week. Don't let that happen with any of the Colts young Josh Downses of the world. That's what I got there. Now let's get to a game that I'm going to be honest is completely ridiculous. Justin Fields versus Baker Mayfield. All right, now we're going to Tampa for the Bucs, who are casually 1-0. Of course, coming off a big time win in Minnesota, where Baker kind of cooked or baked the Vikings. Now he's going to bake the Bears secondary, which was pretty atrocious last week as they got their butts handed to them in the form of the Green Bay Packers. Of course, they played in front of the whole country. Justin Fields didn't look any different from last year. Baker, of course, played the Bears and Justin Fields in their first matchup was back in 2021. Justin Fields got sacked like 9 times. They scored 6 points. Like, they had like 1 passing yard, I think. It was a terrible game. But again, when Baker Mayfield was on the Browns, they won 26-6. But the Bucs and Bears, they played in Tampa back in 2021, and they won 30-3. So not good for the Bears, but who knows? Maybe they turn it around. The game's at 1 o'clock on Fox again. Fox Sports app, NFL Plus, and then again NFL Red Zone, whatever you want to call it. Also, your streaming services for this game. Announcing it will be Joe Davis, Daryl Johnson, Pam Oliver. I'm going to place a bet this is going to be the highest scoring game of the week. I just have a feeling about it. And looking at the map, actually, I do think that the C game, the Colts and Texans game, is probably getting more visualized than this one. Okay, so, yeah, it's most of Florida, and basically all of Illinois, but there are definitely games that they're getting more airtime than this one. Let's get right to the Bears starting lineup. My bad, I forgot to talk about the weather, which I do think will be a pretty big thing. There's going to be a little rain, but it's going to be 90 degrees. It's going to be pretty brutal. The humidity is not going to be great. It's going to suck, except it's not going to be too hot. I mean, not hot. It's just not going to be too sunny, per se. So, that's what I got there. And, yeah, Justin Fields will start for the Bears. He's definitely not going to look to throw 3 interceptions again like he did last time he went to what it's called, Tampa. Roshan Johnson, Dante Foreman, Khalil Herbert all in the backfield. DJ Moore, Darnell Mooney, Chase Claypool receiver. Joe Reed, Tevin Jenkins, Doug Kramer, Buddy Johnson, Kyler Gordon all on IR. Kyler Blasting game at fullback. Braxton Jones, Cody Whitehair, my bad. Lucas Patrick. Nate Davis is doubtful. Ja'Carry Carter is behind him. Darnell Wright is also a right tackle. Yannick Ngakoue, Rasheem Green, Dominique Robertson, and DeMarcus Walker out the edge with. Justin Jones, Andrew Billington, Gervon Dexter Sr., and Jack Pickens, who also, actually, their defensive tackles, again, backup rookies, both played pretty well that last week in garbage time. C.J. Edwards, Tremaine Edmonds, and, of course, Jack Sanborn all starting. Noah Sewell did not look good in garbage time. Jalen Johnson, Terrell Smith, and Tyreek Stevenson at corner with Josh Blackwell being out. Jalen Jones probably will take the start. Maybe Greg Stroman Jr. I don't know what they're going to do there. Jaquan Brisker and Eddie Jackson are both at safety with Carlos Santos as the kicker, Trent Gill as the punter, Trent Taylor, Tyler Scott, both as a returner, and Patrick Scales as the long snapper. And, of course, for Baker Mayfield on the Bucs, Rashad White, Sean Tucker, Chase Edmonds in the backfield with Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Trey Palmer, receiver. Russell Gage, of course, is out for the season. Ryan Johnson also out for the season. Kid on Keefe at tight end with Tristan Wirfs, Matt Filer, Robert Hainsey, Cody Mauch, and Luke Gedeke rounding off the offense as a whole. Clyde Cansey is out. I think it's something like groin or something. William Golston will start along with Vita Vea and Logan Hall. Joe Tryon, Yaya Diaby, Anthony Nelson, and Shaq Barrett off the edge with Surveya, Dennis, the middle linebacker, being out. Devin White, Levante David, of course, their starters are both healthy, though. Jamel Dean, Christian Eisen, and questionable D. Delaney, who played well last week, will probably start. Carlton Davis is out, though. Big time loss there. Zion McCollum will probably get to start, too. We'll see, though. Ryan Yield, Antoine Winfield Jr. at safety. Both those guys need to play better than they did last week. They did not look too great. Chase McLaughlin at kicker, Jake Martyr a punter, Devin Tompkins at returner, and Zach Triner at long snapper. And for this Bears offense, I want Justin to, he has to get past his first read. He didn't do much of that last week, and if he doesn't do it, same exact result, going to be honest. More level concepts, too. Again, if they get a guy going deep underneath and over the middle, it'll be a really easy job for Justin Fields. And at least one of those receivers will be open because the Bucs just don't have enough guys to at least cover them. And they're really good at manipulating those zones. Flood concepts will work well as well. That's a lot. And more pin and pulls from under center to help jumpstart the run game and get these athletic guards moving. I mean, Cody Whitehair, you can talk about how slow he is and stuff, but he does do a really good job holding players. And then again, they have guys like it's not Tevin Jenkins. Who the heck is it? I literally just went brain fart. It's who is it? Oh yeah, my bad. It's dang. If Nate Davis can play again, he's doubtful. I get it, but Ja'Carry Carter, he can also move a little bit too. So if they can get those guys out on the edge, blocking for these running backs, especially Khalil Herbert, it'll be a huge help for that run game. Bears defense, no getting beat over the middle by Chris Godwin. He will cook you the whole game. Again, Baker's just got to float it out to him because he is so good at getting into space. So easy for quarterbacks, obviously. But yeah, the Bears, they let him just start going. They got no chance. Eddie Jackson, 9 tackles. I really do think the reason that he didn't play Super Bowl last week was because he just really wasn't involved enough. DeMarcus Walker in 3 tick no matter what, and under 325 yards total yards allowed, which is not a crazy thing considering they're playing the Bucs, but yeah. And yeah, DeMarcus Walker needs to play 3 tech because he looks really good last week, at least against let's go the right guard. The right guard for the Packers. He looks really good against him. Continue that. Now let's talk about the Bucs. Speaking of that, John Runyon, who is the right guard for the Packers. Now back to the Bucs though. Baker has to keep up the efficiency like fourth quarter last week. He was deadly. It was awesome to watch. Do the same thing. The O-line has to create holes in the B gap on outside zone. That's very self-explanatory. The running backs are not going to create their own space. They're just not good enough. And then through having a gap zone type of system where the tackle is responsible for getting the hell out of the and having the guard taking on whatever DT is inside trying to blow it up. This is the zone, basically taking any guy that gets in that area, and then the guard just basically the tackle going out to see basically take on a corner or something. That's how they're gonna run the ball well with outside zone. I think that's how their offense is gonna actually get some really nice runs going because I do think they have the guys to do it. Bucs defense, no Justin shenanigans. If he can just run around and do whatever the heck he wants, it will be a frustrating day. And make sure Jalen Johnson knows to funnel DJ Moore funnel in DJ Moore when he gets into a dangerous space for Of course, what I mean by that is again, if he makes a catch underneath, don't let him get to the outside. He's again too fast and he's really good at climbing this which is kind of weird. He's really good at accelerating to beat guys to, down the sideline. That's where he's best in terms of his yak game, and as well get him to where guys can help tackle, because that's where Jalen Johnson really does get really dangerous, because again, he's a guy who, again, pretty good zone corner, but when he can tackle as well, but he doesn't have the exact speed to get the outside, but he's really good at funneling guys in, because he does make tackles more often than that. Even if there's not a guy there, force him to the middle, because again, even if there's not a guy there, he can still make the tackle. Now let's get to the next game. Packers and Falcons. Jordan Love versus Desmond Ridder. What the heck was that? Alright, Packers and Falcons. Of course, the Packers have not played in Atlanta in a really long time. It's been since 2017, I think. Yeah, it's been a really long time. Of course, these teams played way back in 2020, Aaron Rodgers' MVP campaign. Both teams look so much different now. Of course, the Falcons fell to 0-4. Packers went to 4-0 with that 30-16 win. Of course, they've had history. Of course, they played in that NFC Championship back in NFC Championship in 2012. No, yeah. 2017, they played in the NFC Championship, I think. Yeah, 2017 NFC Championship, they played, of course, the Packers got blown out 44-21 against the Falcons. Then 28-3 happened, yeah, if you want to talk about that. But yeah, Packers scores 1-0, coming off a blowout win against the Bears. Second road game for their home game, whenever it happens next week. And of course, the Falcons, second straight home game, they're going to look at 2-0, take advantage of the 2 home games to start the season. Of course, knocked out Bryce Young with a 24-10 win. Games on Fox Sports app, Fubo, for whatever reason, on here too. NFL Plus, again, YouTube TV as well. Announcing this game will be, where is it? I think it's at the top. Oh yeah, Kenny Albert, Jonathan Miller, Shannon Spake. So it is a B game. You could argue it is an A game even, but I don't think it is, because the number 1 team isn't announcing it. And the map says, where is it? It's yellow. A lot of the country is getting this game, like a ton, like more than any other game. So yeah, again, it's kind of awkward that a lot of the country is getting this game, because it really isn't the number 1 game. But whatever, that's what I got there. Time for the Packers starting lineup. And for the Packers, Jordan Love, of course, being their quarterback. Sean Clifford is his backup. Aaron Jones is questionable. A.J. Dillon and Emmanuel Wilson also in the backfield. Christian Watson is questionable. The Tavion Wicks again, or probably more likely Semi Torrey will be the receiver. Romeo Doubs, Jaden Reed, both healthy. Jaden Reed, how did he do last week? I'm not going to lie. Oh, yeah, 248, forgot about that. But either way, Luke Musgrave, Joshua DeGuara, tight end. Tucker Kraft also there. David Bakhtiari is questionable. Josh Neesmith will start if he can't go. Again, basically just bona fide left tackle. Elton Jenkins, Josh Myers, John Runyon, Zach Tom across the offensive line. Luke Tanetta is on IR with Kenny Clark, TJ Slay, and Devontae White across the defensive line. Preston Smith, Lucas Vaness, Eric Kingsley Nabor, and Rashawn Gary at linebacker off the edge with Quay Walker and Devontae Campbell. They're the linebackers. Again, other Eric Wilson's also on this team. Jay Alexander, Keyshawn Nixon, Carrington Valentine, and Rasul Douglas corner with Darnell Savage, Ruby Ford at safety. Eric Stokes is out. Anders Carlson and Daniel Wheelman are the punter and kicker and punter. Jaden Reed and Keyshawn Nixon are the returners, and Matt Orgazek is the long snapper. And yep, the Falcons have a of course, their starter, Taylor Heineke is the backup. Bijan, Tyler Algier, Cordero Patterson, all healthy in the backfield. Avery Williams, Penny Hart, Ethan Greenidge, Matt Hennessy, Adekunbo Denji, and then Akana and Akanu are both all on IR. Matt Collins, Drake London, Scott Miller, receiver, not Scotty, just Scott now, I guess. Kyle Pitts, Jonas Smith, the tight end. Keith Smith is the fullback. Jake Matthews, Matthew Bergeron, Drew Dahlman, Chris Lindstrom, and Cale McGarry across the offensive line. Calais Campbell, David and Anyamata, Grady Jarrett across the defensive line. Arlen Imbakiti, D'Angelo Malone, Lorenzo Carter, Buddy Bree off the edge. Troy Anderson is out. Nate Landman, probably more Tay Davis going to start though. Caden Ellis also there. AJ Terrell, Alford, and Trey Flowers, and Mike Hughes all there. Jeff Kuda is still questionable. Jesse Bates III and Rasheed Grant are at safety with Young Oku being the kicker. Your punter is Bradley Pinion. D. Alford is your punt returner. Your kick returner is Cordell Patterson. Lena McColl is your long snapper. All right, for the Packers, half primaries to be on whatever. Half Jesse Bates isn't. Any sort of number 1 target cannot be on Jesse Bates' side of the field. It's just if you're Matt Clark, you just can't risk Jesse Bates getting the pick 6 on you, because he looked on a different level last week. Jordan left 40+ attempts. I know that sounds crazy, but their offense looked awesome when he had the football. Aaron Jones, more carries than A.J. Dillon. If he can play, and yes, I guess, and take a couple of shots on second and short, which they will do anyway, but yeah, especially this game. Packers defense, don't let Tyler set up shop off the stretch to get cut back lanes for long runs. He did that a couple times last week in not really big runs, but first downs. They really got to prevent that. Again, really had Quay Walker and Devondre Campbell have to communicate who goes get to the edge, and the other guy just stays in there to make sure nothing else happens. And of course, contain Bijan out of the backfield. He looked really good there last week. And so sound tackling over stops. Again, if a guy gets first down because you made a good tackle, and again, if you're one-on-one in space and then you get instead of getting plowed over, it's good. Time for the Falcons. All right, Falcons offense, 50-plus combined touches for Bijan and Tyler Algier. Again, that's a lot of touches, but again, just get them the football. They're your best offense players now. But Kyle Haskett, 7-plus targets, and Desmond can't check it down. Yeah, I want to see him throw it downfield more. That's, again, a really hard thing for them to do. Again, that's how their offense is going to be really good, though. Defensively, make Jordan beat you by disguising his own blitzes, which is something they did a lot with last week with Bryce Young. But yeah, again, Jordan Love looked a lot better under pressure, so you just got to make sure you're careful with that. Jesse Bates doing his thing on the in the third quarter zone. Again, you got the 2 quarters on the outside, the 2 middle quarters. He's the third quarter, basically playing the right side. But yeah, that half has to be all his. But all that matters is if you can keep the runs to a minimum, because if they get big runs on you, again, Jesse Bates is gonna have to step up more, be more effective, and then the zone blitz thing just goes out the door. Now let's get to a national game. Whoever did the TV zoning for this week is idiots, because if you remember this game from last year, oh boy was it crazy. Yup, the Seahawks and Lions go into a rematch from last year, of course, where the teams combined for, what was it? Oh my God. They combined for 93 points last year. Of course, Seahawks won 48-45 in what was a game where defenses weren't really part of the game plan. Of course, this year, though, the Lions coming off, people really don't care about it. But yeah, they knocked out the Chiefs, obviously. They're looking for more respect. 2-0 Star will definitely do that. Again, against the Seahawks team that fell asleep in the second half, got outscored 23-0 again that second half against the Rams. Yeah, they should be again. Lions are favored in this one for sure, but I think it'll be a pretty good game. Again, both defenses are going to be pretty bad. The Lions defense, yeah, they look good, but it wasn't like they were that fantastic last week by any means. Seahawks, on the other hand, their defense just looked really bad. So don't be surprised if it's another 40 burger. No, it's not going to be that, but something like that for both teams. And yeah, of course, it is the NFL on Fox. Again, 1 o'clock on Fox, NFL Plus, Fox Sports app, and YouTube TV streaming services for this one, as well. Kevin Burkhardt, Aaron Andrews, Tom Rinaldi, the whole crew calling this one. Don't ask me why none of the country is getting this game. It's stupid that Atlanta's why is this game going to freaking New Mexico? I mean, I don't know anyone who watches football in New Mexico, but I don't want to watch a high-scoring game if I was, because, soccer just kills you down there. So, yeah. Again, all the Northwest is getting this one, and again, Detroit and part of Ohio and stuff. But yeah, this country's not getting enough coverage. That's what I got there, though. Let's get right into it. For the Seahawks, Geno Smith, the quarterback. Drew Lock is the backup. Kenneth Walker, he's actually remaining in the backfield. Kenny McIntosh, Derek Young, Rashawn Henry, Diaskridge, Abraham Lucas, Laryl Bumpus. Joshua Agunu, whatever, Andrew Whitaker, and Diaskridge again are all on IR. Charles Cross is also out. Again, they're starting left tackle. DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett, JSN, a receiver. Jack Bobo also there as well. Noah Fant and Will Disley, a tight end. Nick Valor at fullback. Again, Charles Cross is out. Stone Forsythe will probably start there. Wait, what? Wasn't he a center? What? No, that's a different dude. My bad. Damian Lewis, Evan Brown, Phil Haynes, and Jack Serrano across the offensive line. Again, not great there. Draymond Jones, Jaron Reed, and Mary Leonard Jr. across the offensive line. Mike Morris is out. Brian Moan and Austin Falalio are also out. Boyle Bonfils questionable. Darrell Taylor will probably again. And Derek Carr or Chin Willis off the edge with Jordan Brooks and Bobby Wagner up the middle. Devin Bush is questionable as well. Trey Brown, Devon Witherspoon, Michael Jackson, Reed Woolen at corner. Of course, Jamal Adams is still out. Julian Love, Kobe Bryant, and DeQuandre Diggs at safety. Jason Myers, Michael Dixon, kicker, punter. Gigi Dallas is the returner, and Jack Stoltz, the long snapper. For the Lions, of course, Jared Goff will start. Teddy Bridgewater is back. Hendon Hooker still out. Nate Sudfeld, Jameson Williams, Shane Zylstra, Julian Okora, all on IR basically. David Montgomery Jr. gets in the backfield. Amon-Ra St. Brown, Josh Reynolds, Marvin Jones Jr. and Cleve Raymond receiver. Sam Porter, Brock Reddit, and James Mitchell, tight end. Jason Committee is the fullback. Taylor Decker's doubtful, so Matt Nelson will probably get the start. Jonah Jackson, Frank Ragnow, Haba Vaitai, and Panay Sewell across the offensive line. Graham Glasgow is also there. Aiden Hutchinson, Josh Pascal is out. Le'Veon Uzurgi, Romeo Okora both healthy though. And Charles Harris off the edge. Benito Jones, Lee McNeil up the middle. John Kaminsky was fantastic as well last week. Jack Campbell, Alex Anzalone, Derek Barnes at linebacker with Cameron Sutton, Brian Branch, Jerry Jacobs, and Emmanuel Mosley and Khalil Dorsey are both out. So Stephen Gilmore will probably get some playing time maybe. Tracy Walker the third, Kirby Joseph, C.J. Gardner-Johnson at safety. With Riley Patterson, Kicker, Jack Fox at punter. Cleve Raymond is your punt returner. Your kick returner is Khalil Dorsey, who is out. So Cleve Raymond will probably get that duty too. And Scott Daly as well as your long snapper. Alright, and what I want to see from the Seahawks offense is don't fall asleep in the second half. Like, that's kind of simple. If the same thing happens, you're going to lose. Because if the Rams can do the same, if that's what happens when you fall asleep in the second half of the Rams, I don't even know what it's going to be like to the Lions. Again, let alone at home and now on the road. 25 plus carries for Kenneth Walker and Zach Charbonnet. They got to get the ball more. Again, this seems like, again, not a ton of carries, but not both of them, but like, again, probably like more like 40, but get them the football. DK more than 6 targets. It was just a disaster when they did. He's just got to get the ball more. And quick throws and JSN to help out the O-line, who, of course, is really injured right now. Seahawks defense, maintain the energy against the run. Again, it was really good last week. Do the same. Be gap sound against Jahmyr Gibbs, because if you don't, he will make you pay one way or another. Have Reek play right on Amon-Ra St. Brown or with Jamal, or again, basically Julian Love playing inside leverage to keep him from getting over to the top of the route, the top of his route at a good time, because when he does that, Jared Goff just slings it right in there, and there's nothing you can do about it. Time for the Lions now. Alright, now for this Lions offense, run the ball a ton. Like, I want to see them run the ball like 50 times, because the Seahawks, I would not be surprised if they score a lot of points in their defense. That's going to be like, yeah, there's no way their offense is going to be like as bad as they were last week, or like is like dead, I'd say. They're going to have to run the ball to slow the game down. Jared has to be getting at least one bomb out to Josh Reynolds or Marvin Jones. Just get him the ball downfield. It doesn't even have to be like pretty or anything. Just get like a deep shot. And run another fake punt just for the heck of it. The Lions defense, under 30 points. Like that's kind of like self-explanatory. It's not like they actually need to, but yeah, that would be a big help. And under 5 plus big plays against, because if that just starts happening, they're going to give them 50 points. Because you can't stop the big play, let alone anything else. It's going to be bad. And don't let Geno unload on third down. If he can just literally have all the time in the world to just sling it into a tight window, you're going to have a rough game line defense. There's a lot of stuff you're going to have to do, and it's really just dependent on, again, not giving up those big plays. Now let's get to the second national game in the early window. Alright, we've got a rematch of last year's AFC Divisional, and the Chiefs are healthy. Yeah, what a game. Yep, the Chiefs and Jags, of course. Mahomes has played these Jags 4 times, and he's beaten them every single time. 2018 they played. It was a blowout win for the Chiefs. Blake Bortles threw in 4 interceptions. Self-explanatory. Of course, back in 2019, they played in the first game of the season. Mahomes threw for 3 touchdowns. It was basically picture perfect. They scored 40 points, and the Jags, of course, Nick Foles got hurt. Disastrous loss. The only time that the Chiefs have played the Jags with Patrick Mahomes in Jacksonville. Then, of course, 2021 last year they played, and the Chiefs, of course, handled them really well in the first half, 20-0. But the Jags came back and made it to the game. 27-17 was the final. And then, of course, in the divisional round, the Chiefs won 27-20. Of course, that's the game that Patrick Mahomes sprained his ankle and, yeah, came back out in the field and won the game. Jags offense definitely think they could have been better. This is their game to definitely get revenge and really hammer the Chiefs down. Of course, they're now 1-0. Looking to be a little more consistent than last week, but definitely the same type of game plan for sure. The game's at 1 o'clock on CBS, Fubo, NFL Plus, Paramount Plus, both the streaming services as well. And, yeah, of course, last week, getting all the drops for the Chiefs, but, yeah, they're back healthy. You'll definitely see it in, like, a couple moments. Again, I Neil Charles Davis, Evan Washington, again, on the call, because this is an A game. It's the NFL on CBS doubleheader here in week 2. Like, basically, it is every year. And, again, week 2, CBS does get the doubleheader, so this is going to be the first game. Chris Cariano and Brian Balling are on the call on, what was it? Compass Media Radio, yeah. Again, the Chiefs, a lot of countries getting this game. It's the red area, like, a lot. So, yeah, just staying tuned for that. Let's get right to the Chiefs starting lineup. My bad, I forgot the weather. Yeah, it's going to be 87 degrees, 67% humidity, 7 miles per hour wind. But it's going to be, like, really crappy. So, not really advantageous for both offenses. Chiefs getting Mahomes will start. Obviously, Kobe stays healthy, obviously. Blaine Gabbert, the backup. Isaiah Pacheco, Jerick McKinnon in the backfield. CH or Clyde Edwards, whatever we call him, is questionable. Kadarius Toney, MVS, Guy Moore, receiver. Nick Remigio and Jody Fortson, both on IR, as well as Charles Omeni, who is suspended, and Nazi Johnson. Travis Kelce, he's back! And, of course, no Gray also there. Donovan Smith, Joe Tooney, Creed for Trey Smith, and then the guy who cheats all the time, Jawan Taylor. I don't know how he does it, but yeah, it's basically the ball is snapped, he gets off the line. Like, it's perfectly timed. It's a loophole, but whatever. There's videos on it. You can watch it with whatever. George Kalafis, Malik Herring, Mike Dana, Felix and Doogie Zama off the edge with Derek Nottie, Chris Jones. He's back too, up the middle. Tristan Warren again was a break last week, but see what we can do this week. Willie Gay, Jack Cochran, and Leo Chanel, linebacker Nick Bowen. Why isn't he starting? Don't ask me. Legere C, Joshua Williams, Jalen Watson, and Trenton McDuffie, a corner with Brian Clean, Justin Reed at safety. Harrison Bucker is the kicker. The punter is Tommy Townsend. Reese James, the returner. James Winchester is the long snapper. Meanwhile, for the Jags, of course, Trevor will start. Travis Etienne Jr. taking Bigsby in the back. Jonas Johnson is also there. Calvin Ridley, Christian Kirk, and Zay Jones, receiver Jamal Agnew also there. Jalen Moore's on IR as well as Leonard Taylor, Cam Robinson, and both those guys are suspended. Cooper Hodges, Devon Hamilton, Ventrell Miller, and Gregory Jr. All on IR. Evan Ingram, Luke Farrell, tight end. Brendan Strange also there. Walker Little, Ben Barch, Luke Forner, and Brandon Sherfield, questionable. Tower Shalley play, cancel play if they can't. Anthony Harrison's the right tackle as well. Adam Gotts, Tyler Lancey is questionable. Dwayne Smoove again is out. Lorenzo Vadakowski, Roy Harper is also there. Josh Allen, Shaquille Quarterman, Kalen Jason, Trayvon Walker up the edge. Felicity Lucan, Devin Lloyd up the middle with Tyson Campbell. Trey Herndon, Darius Williams, and Montre Brown at corner with Chris Claybrooks, Antonio Johnson both being out. Rashawn Jenkins and Andrew Cisco at safety. Brandon McManus is the kicker. The punter is Logan Cook. Your returner Jamal Agnew, and your long snapper is Ross Matajic. All right, gonna keep it very short and sweet for this Chiefs offense. Don't drop the bad word ball. They can't drop the ball. Like, oh my god, just don't drop the ball. Like, it's kind of simple. Like, don't. They would have won the game if those balls weren't dropped. That's what I gotta say. Chiefs defense, he's back. Yup, Chris Jones. I want 12 plus pressures, which sounds insane, but he can do it. 2 plus sacks, and Trevor in the trash can. Literally pick up Trevor Lawrence. Again, I want Chris Jones to pick up Trevor Lawrence after a sack. If they're winning, put him in the trash can. Just do it. Time for the Jags. All right, Jags offense. Efficiency over potential in the run game. Don't try to break the big run early. These are for the running backs. They got to get the first downs. Less man relying on Anthony Harrison to create holes. Again, they do that because he does have the athleticism to do it, but he just doesn't really have the aggression just yet to penetrate enough for these guys to actually get around the edge in time. But once he gets there, he'll be fine because he does sustain the box. Zay Jones, 4 plus 50-50 deep shots. He looked really good there last week. And no turnovers. Because if you turn over the football against the Chiefs, what happens? Of course, you lose. Defensively, don't let what happened in 2019 again this time around. Again, the secondary as a whole was F. Like, that's what I'll say. Because they got a decent pass rush, but in 2019, their secondary, like, up to Jalen Ramsey, was god-awful. Now let's get to, I don't even want to talk about this game. This is just horrible. All right, yep, now we get in the first regional, late afternoon regional window. Of course, there's no national games in this window, but it's basically the filler window, if you want to say it. Like, these are not the games you're going to want to watch, or, like, the game you're going to want to watch, but they're games that are going to be on. Again, 4:05, so if you're watching Red Zone and you're a fan of the Giants or Cardinals, which I don't know why you want to watch Cardinals, but if you want to watch the Giants for whatever reason, yeah, you might want to switch it really quick so you don't miss the start of the game. Again, it does sneak up on you. 4:05 on Fox Sports app, NFL Plus, and YouTube TV Red Zone, again, are your streaming services for this game. Announcing it will be Adam Mead, Mark Slayers, Christina Pink. So it is a big game. It's a game where, I don't know. Again, why are they calling Tank Bowl games? Why are they calling Cardinals games? I really don't get it. I'm a little annoyed. But yeah, that's what I got there. A little annoyed. Blech. But either way, what am I doing? Now we get into it again. It's in green, so what the heck? It's all Arizona and then, like, New York. That area. Again, why is it me? No idea why, but it is. Again, that's kind of what I got, guys. The Giants, of course, coming off a terrible loss. They're just not going to really remember it. Let me put it like that. And then the Cardinals, of course, are trying to tank. So, yeah, not the greatest things. They played a couple of times, of course, back in 2019. Chase Edmonds had 3 touchdowns. The Cardinals won their 3rd straight. And they went to 20, again, back in week 7, 27-21. Giants lost their 3rd straight. 2020, the game, Hassan Reddick had like 6 sacks. Final score was 26-7, I think. And then, yeah, that's kind of all that's really happened. Time for the Giants starting lineup. All right, of course, the Giants. Daniel Jones will start. do anything but better than last week. Saquon, Matt Breida in the backfield, Isaiah Hodgins, Paris Campbell, Darius Slay, receiver Wanda Robinson is doubtful. Jalen Hyatt will be out there at one point. Bryce Ford, Wheaton, Wyatt Davis, J.C. Housenauer, Gerard Davis all on IR. Darren Waller, Daniel Bellinger at tight end. Andrew Thomas questionable. Matt Pert behind him. Ben Bredesen, John Michael Schmitz Jr., whatever. Mark Lewinsky, Evan Neal across the offensive line. Ashawn Robinson, Dexter Lawrence, Leonard Williams. Kayvon Thibodeau, Boogie Basham, Azeez Ojulari's doubtful. Jihad Ward will start if he can't go, probably. Or Boogie Basham, we'll see. Bobby Okereke and Micah McFadden at linebacker with Trey Hawkins III. Odori Jackson, Cordell Flott, and Deontay Banks at corner. Of course, Aaron Robinson is out. Jason Pinnock and David McKinney at safety. Graham Gano is the kicker. The punter is Jamie Gillen. Eric Gray is the returner, and Casey Crater is the long snapper. Alright, on the other side for the Cardinals, Josh Dobbs will start. Clayton Tune is his backup. Kyler Murray again is still out. Marlon Mack, Dennis Daly, Pat F. line. John Means the second. Machi Sanders, Rashad Fenton all on IR. James Conner, Keontae Ingram in the backfield. Marquise Brown, Michael Wilson, Ronald Moore, Zach Pascal, Greg Dortcher receiver. Zach Ertz, Trey McBride at tight end. DJ Humphries, Elijah Wilkinson, Hoja Frola, Will Hernandez, and Paris Johnson Jr. across the offensive line. Kelvin Beachum is questionable. Zach Collins, Jonathan Ledbetter, Cameron Thomas, Dante Stills, Elgin Collier is out. Lee Fotu is questionable as well. Josh Woods is out. So Owen Papa will probably start with Chris Barnes. We'll see whoever starts there. Chris White and Dennis Garlick, who basically is an edge rusher there. Keatrell Carter, Clark, Antonio Hamilton Sr., Marco Wilson, Christian Matthew at corner. Garrett Williams is out. Buda Baker's questionable. Kevin Walls will probably start if he can't go. And then, of course, Jalen Thompson there as well. Matt Prater is your kicker, your punters, Nolan Cooney. Greg Dorsey's your returner, and Aaron Brewer's your long snapper with Matt Hembrow on IR. Alright, what I want to see from this Giants offense is Saquon getting the ball 20-plus times on the ground. Daniel can't piss in his pants if he gets clocked. Just take the hit. And the O-line has to at least try to sustain blocks for longer than a nanosecond, because they did not do that last week. Giants defense, Dexter continued to do you. You look good last week. Leonard Williams has to get better, get back in the groove that he had at the end of last year. Actually, he looked really good at the end of last year, getting a lot of pressure, was getting a couple of sacks here and there. Just get back to that. And the corners can't suck. They sucked last week. Time for the Cardinals. Cardinals offense, continue your tank defensively, though. The Giants will sell if you guys do exactly what you did last week, which was Dennis Gardeck being your number one passer. For whatever reason, that worked. And I'm done with this game. Time for the battle for the early season NFC West top spot, which means probably absolutely nothing by the end of the year. Yep, the 49ers and Rams matching up again. I hate the 49ers so much. They blow out the Rams like every time they play. They've won 8 straight in the regular season against them, dating back to 2019. I mean, I don't know what else to say. Like, Kyle Shanahan owns what's called Sean McVay, except in that one NFC Championship. Yeah, he's like 9-4 against them, something crazy like that. But yeah. 49ers, of course, they were the most impressive team last week. Kira 1-0. The Rams, though, they showed up against the Seahawks. They played really good. Probably best case scenario. They knocked them out 30-13. This week, though, different animal. They're playing the Niners. That own them, and they'll probably take over they'll probably take over LA again. Last year they knocked the Rams off 31-14 here. I'm not very confident. Again, the game's at 4:05 on Fox. Fox Sports app, NFL Plus, Fubo, whatever the heck. It's on Fox. Yeah. Announcing this game, Kevin Kluger, Mark Sanchez, Laura Oakman, thank God. Sports US Radio, John Allers, and Doug Plank on the call. Again, looking at the map, you look at it, and it's in orange. Most of this, all California, most of Nevada. For some reason, it's in Tennessee. Some reason, it's in Kansas City. I don't know. Some parts of the country are getting this game. That's what I got there, guys. Again, Niners-Rams battle for really early season NFC West supremacy. Time for the Niners starting lineup. And for the Niners, Brock Purdy, of course, is their starter. Christian McCaffrey and Elijah Mitchell in the backfield. Devo, Brandon Ayuk, Joran Jennings, the receiver, as well as Raymond McCall III. Danny Gray's on IR, as well as Robert Beal Jr., and then Darrell Letter Jr. is out, and again, Samuel Womack III is also on IR. George Kittle, Charlie Warner at tight end, Kyle Juszczyk is their fullback. Trent Williams, Aaron Banks, Jake Brando, Spencer Burford, Cole Mavikevich across the offensive line. Cleveland Farrell, Drake Jackson, Carry Out Jr., Nick Bosa off the edge, Javon Hargrave, Eric Armstead up the middle, Drake Greenlaw, Fred Warner, Oren Burks at linebacker with Travarius Ward, Isaiah Oliver, Avery Thomas, and and Diamador Lenore at corner. Jason Gibson Sr. And Tulunu Funga are at safety, with Jake Moody being the kicker. Mitch Wisnowski is their punter. Ray McCloud is the returner, and Tabor Pepper is the long snapper. And for the Rams, Matt Stafford is their quarterback. Obviously, Brad Rippert is the backup because Stetson Bennett is out. Cam Akers, Kyron Williams in the backfield. Van Jefferson, Tutu Atwell, Puka Nacua is questionable, though, with, I think it was like a quad injury, something like that. Ben Skoranek will probably play, same with Demarcus Robinson at some point. Cooper Kupp, Hunter Long, O'Shane Mathis, and Jason Taylor II are all on IR. Tyler Higbee, Bryson Hopkins, Davis Allen, all at tight end. Joe Noteboom, Steve Avila, Brian Allen, Tremaine Abrams Jr., and Rob Havenstein across the offensive line. Coleman Shelton is questionable. Jonah Williams, Bobby Brown, Aaron Donald across the defensive line. Byron Young, Nick Hampton, Michael Hoyt, and Zach Van Luckenberg across the edge rushing group. Christian Rosen, Ernest Jones questionable. Troy Reader, the guy they picked up, we could see them there. Darian Kendrick, Akel Witherspoon, Kobe Durant, and Juke Shelley at corner with Jordan Fuller and Rashid Su's questionable. Worst case, John Johnson starts. Brett Maher's the kicker. Your punter is Ethan Evans. Puka Nacua is their questionable kick return punt returner. So Kyron Williams can do that. And Kyron Williams is the kick returner as well. Alex Ward is also the long snapper. And for the 49ers, I want Brock Purdy to stay clean. Basically, that's the offensive line. That's partly him, but if he can, again, if the offensive line can give him a good pocket and he doesn't turn over the football, I do think that this offense will be fine. Because, again, you watch Jimmy Garoppolo with the 49ers, he just hit the throws he was supposed to, and he just didn't really make any bad plays, per se. And when he did, it usually wasn't a play that, like, really cost them. Like, again, there's bad plays that cost your team, and there's plays that really cost your team. Jimmy Garoppolo didn't really make those plays, so if Brock Purdy is, like, a similar type of strategy, he'll be fine. Debo does his usual business against the Rams, like, a touchdown of some crazy sorts. CMC has to have another 3-way touchdown game. Maybe not, but that would be pretty crazy if he does. And it's Niner House. It'll be an easy game. Again, just take over the stadium. Like the 49ers offense will do their job. Defensively, though, Nick Bosa had the 4 most pressures. He wasn't great last week. And again, get a sack. Drake Jackson had to build off last week because last year didn't have the greatest rookie season, but yeah, he exploded last week. And TJ Sr. doing their thing in the back end. You saw them last year against the Rams. They dominated in the secondary. They didn't dominate, but they did their job in the secondary. They didn't give any deep shots. Those two guys did really well in that in that facet. They do it again. I don't know what else to say. Like, the Rams have no shot. Meanwhile, for the Rams, I want them to run the ball at the same volume they did last week, even if it isn't as effective as it should be more effective, because I don't see the 49ers defense playing the same type of run defense, at least schematically wise, because that'll really put some vulnerability on those corners. Again, not like too much, but yeah, definitely. It's paramount to have a 60+% third down conversion rate, because they will make mistakes. This offense, don't get me wrong, they will have bad drives, but if they're really, really good on third down, it'll be huge. And that's going to have another huge week. O-line, keep it up, too, because if those two things can happen, these 3 things, huge things, if those all get done, the Rams will at least have a good shot at winning this game, because you can really get it done on third down. You can afford to have some bad drives here and there. Rams defense, though, don't get burned over the top. That's got to happen. Stop the freaking run. That's always been a problem with the Rams against the 49ers. They did the game again, the NFC Championship, last time they beat them, they played really well. Continue to do that. This is a game to prove to the league who the hell you guys are. If you guys last week was a fluke, show your thing, and then yeah, show them what you're made of. That's what I got for the Rams. Let's get right to the next game. Commanders and Broncos, late window time. All right, Commanders and Broncos. Not gonna lie, this is a pretty boring matchup, but I will say it's gonna probably be close. Of course, talking about this matchup, they played. I think it was back in what was it? I'm slow. They played back in 2021. How am I forgetting about? Oh yeah, was it 2021? Yeah, they played 2021. It was again another 4-25 game. The Broncos knocked out the Commanders 17-10, in which both teams were, I think, coming in like a 3. Broncos, remember, they're coming in a 4-game losing streak. It was on Halloween, and yeah, the Broncos figured it out, won 17-10, and yeah, that was kind of the story. Again, the Commanders dropped their 4th straight before they actually won 4 in a row. Wild season back then, but yeah, they play again both with different starting quarterbacks. Commanders, of course, coming off a win against the taking Cardinals. They didn't play particularly well, but again, when you're playing a bad team, you usually found a way to win. Broncos, on the other hand, coming off a close loss. Russ really didn't get a good chance to really cook, and the run game wasn't exactly potent per se. Defensively, they weren't great either. They weren't bad, but they weren't great. So yeah, that's what I got. Gives again at 425 on TBS. It is the it's the other alternate game for the doubleheader. Animal Plus, Paramount Plus, other streaming services for this game. Announcing it will be not that. It's Spirit Diaz, Adam Archuleta, and DD King Ball. So it is a C game. We're looking at the map, It's actually a good, again, pretty good part of the country you're getting it. It's like basically all of the Mountain West and then also the DC area. So that's what's gonna be getting this game. The weather, it's gonna be 83 degrees. Pretty not too humid. Again, it's not gonna rain at all. Again, mostly sunny. It's gonna be a pretty nice day for this game. It's gonna be a little hot again. With the weather, there could be a little bit of concern. But with that, let's get right into the Commanders starting lineup. And for the Commanders, Sam Howell, of course, their starting quarterback. Jacoby Brissett is the backup. Brian Robinson Jr., Antonio Gibson, and Chris Rodriguez Jr. on the backfield. Terry McLaurin, John Dalton, Curtis Samuel, receiver. Dax Milne is on IR, as well as Brain Daniels, F.A. Obata, Curtis Brooks, Philarian Mathis, David Bada, Shaq Tony, who's suspended, and Troy Apke. Logan Thomas, John Bates, tight end. Charles Leno Jr., Shaq Charles, Nick Gates, my bad. Sam Cosmi, Andrew Wiley across the offensive line. Chase Young, James Smith-Williams, Casey Toohill, Montez Sweat off the edge with Jonathan Allen and Deron Payne at defensive tackle. Khaliki Hudson, who else? Oh yeah, Cody Barton, Jimmy Davis at linebacker with Drew White being out. Jatavius Martin corner is also out. Benjamin St. Juste, Kendall Fuller, and Emmanuel Forbes at corner with Cameron Curl and Derek Forrest both at safety. Joey Sly is the kicker. Tressway is the punter. James McCratter, Antonio Gibson at the returning positions, and Cameron Cheeseman is the long snapper. All right, for the Broncos, Russell Wilson will start. Jared Stidham is backup. Javonte Williams, Samaje Perine in the backfield. Judy is healthy. Carlin Stein, Lil Jordan Humphrey, Harvin Jones Jr., Tim Patrick, Jalen Virgil, Alex Pozitsky, Ezekiel or whatever his name's suspended. Jonas Griffith, PJ Locke, and Caden Stearns, Cameron Williams all on IR. Adam Trautman, Greg Dulcich is out. Chris Manhurts will probably go behind him, as well as Michael Byrne, who's the fullback. Aaron Bowles, Ben Powers, Lloyd Cushenberry, Quinn Meinerts, and Mike Winship across the defensive line. Jonathan Harris, DJ Jones, Zach Allen are the defensive line with Randy Gregory, Nick Benito, Jonathan Cooper off the edge with Frank Clark and Baron Browning both being out. Alex Singleton, Josie Jewell are the linebackers with Patrick Sertan, Sang Bassey, Damari Mathis, and Riley Smith Moss being the corners. Kareem Jackson, Justin Simmons are the safeties with Will Lutz being the kicker. Dixon's your punter, Marvin Mims Jr. is your returner, and Mitchell Farbani is your long snapper. All right, for this Commanders offense, I want them to run the ball for over 4.5 yards per carry and again, 2+ yards per carry by the line. They didn't really do a great job again, their penetration was okay, but they weren't sustaining blocks well enough or creating the type of holes that these running backs needed to really get going. This week, I really think that's going to need to happen. They're going to have a pretty good run game for sure. And Sam has to chill on the speed of the progression and be more productive pre-snaps so he doesn't have to find himself in 4-second down situations. Yeah, he does go through his progressions really fast, which I think is a good thing because at least he's processing it, but he sometimes does it too fast because he's a little overwhelmed with what he's seeing. I think if he does a little bit, if he does a little more stuff pre-snap, again, anticipation type of stuff, he'll be good. Commanders defense, tough enough to stop the run. That's bones to bones. They didn't do that really well last week. That's got to happen better. Chase Young, get on the field. He isn't on the field. Kareem Jackson shouldn't be having to save linebackers and corners for missing tackles and assignments and coverage. He's not. Cameron Curl is not the best cover guy, but he picks up all the trash and he does make plays there as well. He shouldn't have to do this. These corners got to do a better job with that. Time for the Broncos. All right, for this Broncos offense, I want Russell Wilson to be allowed to open it up. Or this offense will look like the 2020 Saints without the number one receiving back in the league. Yeah. I think this offense looks a lot like the Saints because, again, Sean Payton again was the coach, but there were no deep shots. Again, the receivers aren't great, but they got to be better with this. Let Russ do his thing. Again, I get last year wasn't great, but at least this year you got to at least figure out what the heck you're supposed to do with this because Russ has to be able to do what he can do because if he can't really do it, this offense is going to be stuck in the middle of the whole year. Defensively, Justin Simmons needs to be more dynamic in coverage. That doesn't mean he needs to be as reliable because he's so reliable, but I do think he can take a couple more chances here and there. Kareem Jackson needs to send messages to these backs throughout the game, big hits basically, and Gregory can't get dogged on like he did last week. That's more in the run game. He was actually beating some guys in pass rush, but being better in the run game will definitely help his speed, at least getting the quarterback. That's what I got for that. Now let's get the game of the week. Can Zach Wilson go into Dallas and knock off the Cowboys, who last week had the biggest opening win of their in franchise history? We'll just wait and see because it's doubleheader day on CBS. Yep, the NFL on CBS doubleheader game 2 here in week 2 is the Jets and the Cowboys. Of course, Cowboys. You remember what happened to these Jets last time? The Jets won 3 straight against you guys. Yep, the Jets were 0-4. And they came in again. Well, they didn't come in, but they played the Cowboys, who again were also struggling, and they beat them. That was a huge upset. But this is the type of game the Cowboys definitely don't want to lose. They looked pretty perfect last week. They had, what was it, two defensive touchdowns. They absolutely murdered the Giants. Meanwhile, the Jets, of course, Aaron Rodgers is gone. There's a lot of what is called emotion with this team, obviously. Zach Wilson will be their starter. The only question is, can he actually be the guy? We'll just have to wait and see again. Really big game, though. Again, they get a huge win, though, last week because they didn't win that game. Really rough. Again, both these defenses are amazing. Probably going to be a low-scoring shootout. Low-scoring game. Games at 4:25 on CBS. Again, NFL Plus, Paramount Plus are your streaming services for this game. NFL Sunday Ticket as well. Most country will be getting this game, though. I'll just tell you that straight off the bat, though. Jim Nantz, Tony Romo, Tracy Wolfson are on the call. Compass Media Radio has Kevin Ray and Danny White on the call as well for this game. Again, a lot of countries getting this game as well. You can see it's basically just the Midwest, the Mountain West, and then part of, what is it called? The DC area that's not getting this. But yeah, most of the country's getting this game. So let's wait after that one. Let's get the Jets starting lineup. Alright, for the Jets, of course, it's Zach Wilson's quarterback. Breece Hall is questionable. Dalvin Cook, Michael Carter both in the backfield as well. Garrett Wilson, Alan Lazard, Randall Cobb, Michael Hardman Jr. receiver. With Tyler Conklin Sr. who's down by tight end. Kenny Yoboa, Carter Warren, Malik Hall, Hassan Neerslin, Chuck Clark all on IR. What's called Nick Bowden at fullback. Dwayne Brown and Mekhi Becton both the tackles are questionable. Billy Turner and Mac Mitchell are there, though. Lincoln Tomlinson, Connor McGovern, and Elijah Very Tucker across the offensive line. John Myers, Quentin Jefferson, Quentin Williams, Carl Lawson, and then both the young dudes as well there off the edge with Jermaine Sherwood, CJ Mosley, and Quincy Williams at linebacker. Sauce Gardner, Michael Carter II, and DJ Reed at corner. Jarek Bernard Converse is out. Jordan Whitehead and Tony Adams at safety. Of course, Adrian Amos is there as well. Greg Zerlin is out of kicker. Austin Seibert will start. Thomas Morstead is the punter. McCormick Jr. is the returner. And Thomas Hennessy is the long snapper. And for the Cowboys, Dak Prescott, of course, will start. Cooper Rush is back as well as Trey Lance. Tony Pollard, Rico Dowdle, Deuce Vaughn in the backfield. Ronald Jones suspended. David Durden, John Stevens Jr., Josh Bowe, Matt Wajiko, Deshaun Wright, and DeMarvin Overshawn are all on IR. CeeDee Lamb, Brandon Cooks is questionable. Michael Gallup and Jalen Tolbert at receiver. Jake Verson, Payne Hendershot, Luke Schoonmaker at tight end. Hunter Luke Key is the fullback. Tyler Smith's doubtful, so Chuma Aduga will probably start. Tyler Abiadash, Zach Martin's questionable. TJ Bass will start. He can't go, and Terrence Steele is also there. DeMarcus Lawrence, Samuel Lamb, Dorrance Armstrong, Micah Parsons, and Nathan Feller Jr. off the edge with Jonathan Higgins, Oza Odigizua, Neville Gallimore, Miles Smith, and Chauncey Olsen. They've got so many defensive linemen. LVE, Jamal Clark, and Devin Harper, a linebacker with Devon Gilmore, Jordan Lewis, Trayvon Diggs, and Deron Bland at corner. Jerron Curves, Malik Hooker will probably start with Donovan Wilson being doubtful. Brandon Aubrey is your kicker, your punter. Brian Anker. Kavante Turbin is your returner, and Trent Sieg is your long snapper. All right, and what I want to see from this Jets offense is you guys need 2+ monster touchdowns. So what I mean by that is long touchdowns. You look at this Jets team back in 2019, similar situation. You guys are underdogs against a Dallas team that should blow you guys out. You need just 2 huge, long touchdowns, whether it's Breece Hall, if he can even play, or just someone having a random, huge touchdown. That's what they need. Zach has to take what the defense gives him and come up on third down. Yeah, he's going to have to hit throws on third down, even though, again, I get the fact that he might not be the most consistent with it, but this offense was designed for Aaron Rodgers for a reason. He's got to make those throws. And 70+ points could give you a shot. I'm not guaranteeing it, though. Jets defense, I actually do think if they get a pick 6 off Dak Prescott, unless it's the first minute of the game, they will win this game. I really do think that. This defense, they get a pick 6, they'll be all hyped up on it, and they won't let it go for the rest of the game. Now let's talk about these Cowboys. And for the boys, no Dak pick 6. Please, if you throw the pick 6, I actually do think that this Jets team will take feet off the big time. Tony Pollard, under 20 carries to save his legs for the rest of the season. Yeah, don't let him get beaten up. And CeeDee Lamb, 11+ targets. He didn't get the ball enough last week. He's got to get it more this week, especially against this Jets defense, which will be challenging them a lot. Cowboys defense, dominate the line. They can do this. Just be very good there. But contain the running game, because they do have backs that will make you pay if you don't. Again, basically Dalvin Cook. But don't try to stuff Breece Hall, basically. Yeah, contain, but don't try to stuff Breece Hall or Dalvin Cook. Micah 10+ big plays, whether it's sacks, just pressure, whatever it is, just get a lot of big plays. And force a couple of game-winning turnovers. Yeah, if they force a couple of turnovers against this Jets defense, I mean offense, I think they'll be fine. Again, if they can just do that, don't make their offense go the distance against this Jets defense, they should have a good shot at winning. Let's start off this game, though. Let's talk about the Sunday Nighter. Can this Dolphins offense stay scorching hot going into New England, where the Patriots look to get a huge win, which they absolutely need? Very high hopes in New England for these Patriots, but can that Dolphin offense just rip them up? We'll just have to wait and see, because it's a huge matchup on SNF. Yep, last game of the preview, but yeah, on Sunday Night Football tonight, we've got the Dolphins and Patriots. Of course, Dolphins coming on off a Tua, Tyreek Hill, what do you want to call it, clinic, sure? Yeah, they beat the Chargers in a wild game. Meanwhile, the Patriots coming off a frustrating loss. Of course, they were down 16-0, but there are a lot of room for not concern, but like I don't know how to put it. There's a lot of room for optimism because they actually looked really good against the Eagles. All things said. Of course, last year the Dolphins kind of owned the Patriots. Let's be honest, they would have beat them in week 17 if they had Tua. But yeah, of course, Tua. I think he's played once in New England and he won. He won 17-16. I think it could be definitely a similar game to that, but should be a pretty close, entertaining game. Again, this Patriots defense looked really good last week. Game's at 8:20, and again, NBC Universo, NBC Sports app or whatever. Again, Peacock, really. YouTube TV, NFL Plus, everything, basically. And, of course, Football Night in America starts at 7 Eastern, so after you're done watching your NFL game, the late window games, you can just turn on Sunday on Football Night in America, see the highlights and all that crap. But either way, let's get right in with that, to the announcers. Of course, for this one, you got Mike Tirico, Chris Collinsworth, Moses Stark, Wesley Vaughn, Ryan Radicke, and then Ross Tucker. The weather in Foxborough tonight, it's going to be partly cloudy. It's going to be, again, 60 degrees, a little humid, but yeah, overall pretty nice weather for a week early season Sunday nighter. Let's get right to the Dolphins starting lineup. And for the Dolphins, Tua will of course be there. Raheem Mostert, Salvin Ahmed, Devon Achane in the backfield, Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, Braxton Berrios a receiver. Remember, Craig Kraft's also there. Dermot Smythe, Tyler Kroft tight end. Julian Hill is questionable. Alec Ingold is the fullback. Teron Armstead is questionable. Kendall Lamb will start if he can't go probably. Isaiah Wynn, Connor Williams, and Robert Hunt, and Austin Jackson across the offensive line. Robert Jones is on IR, as well as Zach Vandenberg, Christian Wilkins, Raekwon Davis, and Zach Sealer are all healthy. Chase Winovich is also there. Jalen Phillips is questionable off the edge. Emmanuel Ogbah, Andrew Van Ginkel, Bradley Chubb also all there. David Long Jr., why am I Bradley Chubb? And Jerome Baker at linebacker with Xavier Howard, Eli Applicator, K.O., and Cam Smith at safety. Kelvin Joseph and corner, Kelvin Joseph and Nick Needham are out. Elijah Campbell, the safety, is questionable. Deshaun Elliott, Javon Holland are the starting safeties, though. Jason Sanders is the kicker. Jake Bailey is the punter. Braxton Berrios is the returner. And Blake Ferguson is the long snapper. For the Patriots, Mac Jones, of course, is their starter. Matt Corral, of course, is out. Raheem Mostert, Zeke, Ty Montgomery, the second are in the backfield. Juju, Devontae Parker's questionable. Demiro Douglas, and Keishan Booty will also get in there as well. Kenneth Bourne, a receiver there. Tyquan Thorne, Trey Nixon, Riley Reef, Terrence Hall, Raekwon McMillan, Jack Jones, Isaiah Bolden, all on IR. Hunter Henry, Mecca Siki at tight end. Trent Brown, close range, Mike on 3 stars, and City Stowe, another backup role on IR. Jake Andrews, Antonio Mafti, and Calvin Anderson will probably all start, maybe start, I don't even know. It's just a mess. DJ Wise Jr., Devon Gottschalk, Lawrence Guy Sr. are all healthy, though. Matt Judon, Anthony Jenkins, Jelani Tavai, Josh Uche, Marte Mapu off the edge, with Juwan Bentley and Jelani Tavai, linebacker. Jonathan Jones is questionable. Marcus Jones, Jalen Mills, Sean Wade, and Christian Gonzalez are all there, though. Jabril Peppers, Kyle Duggar at safety. Chowder Allen is your kicker. Your punter is Bryce Behringer. Marcus Jones is your returner, and Joe Cardona is your long snapper. Alright, what I want to see from this Dolphins offense is running the ball at least 35% of the time, because again, the Patriots are literally going to sell out to make sure they don't get one deep ball the whole game. They're going to make the receivers literally run through 8 guys, or literally blow by the whole defense, which is impossible for a touchdown. That's what they're going to try to do. They did it last year against Tua, and it kind of worked, except their defense just was absolutely dominant. So that's kind of what it got to there too. Tua has to be legit to the outside, really good. Last week he was pretty good. This week he's got to be even better. He's got to make sure those guys are open, or he's going to get picked off. And Tyreek needs to know that the Pats are going to try to keep him from getting to the 10-yard mark on his routes, curls and double moves. So that's really, again, not vertical double moves, but underneath stuff. He's got to run a lot of those hot type of stuff. That's how he's going to be productive in this game. He's not going to get over the top by any means. Dolphins defense, fitting the run is the most important thing. That's it. They fit the run against this Pats offense. They won't be able to use the play action or or this what is called the levels concept that they're going to want to use against this Dolphins secondary, because if they can stop the run, that'll be huge. Time for the Pats. For this Pats offense, Max got to continue to dominate from the middle of the field to the numbers and build off of his deception on the crossers that killed the safeties last week. Again, he had a lot of nice short crossers and intermediate crossers last week over the middle. Again, using his eyes to really get the balls in those tight windows as well. Again, over the middle, he was awesome. But you got to realize that his throws to the short outside of the field were also very crucial to getting those plays that he really liked. But for this defense, it's really big. Keep everything in front of you, even the back judge, everything. Rely on Christian Barmore, again, really just to be, steady, run defense. That's what they're going to want to use him for. And Lawrence Guide, to win matchups consistently in the run game. Yeah, that's basically what it is. More Christian Barmore, though, because, again, he's the guy who really can blow those plays up. Juwan Bentley, 10+ tackles, that's a lot of plays, but if he can make a lot of tackles, keeping these receivers contained is huge. And, yeah, Dedrick Wise, 7+ pressures, from 4-eye and 3 take. Third, I want to walk a lot from him. Again, that's a ton to ask from him, but if he can get that done, holy crap, the Pats could win on Sunday night. And with that, that's all I got for the Sunday night. That's all I got for the week 2 keys to the preview. Again, I hope you guys enjoyed that. And yeah, here's a play for the game of the week, and I hope you guys enjoy your Sunday.
Mahomes looks that way, now will fire and hit his man at the 40. Oh, look out! Sammy Watkins takes it all the way. Explosion in Jacksonville. 68-yard touchdown.
Just a hook route over the middle. He's got yardage for the first down. There's the missed tackle. There's the opening in the secondary. Ramsey misses, and see you later. 68 yards and a happy quarterback. His first touchdown.